I believe in the American dream, but I believe that if it is still possible, it's going to happen in our public schools, because I'm second generation from that American dream. I had a dad who grew up as a poor preacher's kid in far western Kentucky, went through his public school there, Dawson Springs Independent, went to UK, became first generation college, and went on to become the governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. But that dream is in danger.
Would you like to introduce yourself first?
Sure. My name is Andy Beshear. I'm Kentucky's Attorney General. I'm also the dad of a 8 and a 9-year-old. I love this job. It's an opportunity to wake up every day and fight for people, and that's why I like coming to work every single day.
Okay, and how do you differ from Governor Matt Bevin?
Yeah, I think the last couple of years people have seen a huge difference, but part of it is just the way that I approach things. I believe that my job is to serve all Kentucky families, not just the ones that agree with me. That my job is to make sure that every Kentucky family, not just families of a certain political party, can succeed. I believe that it's my job to set an example in government about how I talk to people and even about people. So I believe in a government that never bullies, that never engages in name calling, that doesn't have a my way or the highway type of approach to state government.
Okay, why should Kentuckians have faith in your policy proposals?
Well, I believe that I've shown in this Attorney General's office that we can get results. And that's really important at a time when so many people have lost faith in government. Just look at some of the things we've been able to accomplish in this Attorney General's office. We spent the last 3 years addressing Kentucky's rape kit backlog. We had 3,600 untested kits. Those are 3,600 survivors of a horrendous crime that had their courage locked in a box, placed on a shelf, and our criminal justice system tried to forget them. But working these last 3 years, we have now tested every single kit, at least through the first round of testing. We provided the crime lab with the $4.5 million they said they needed, so it never happened again, and we even opened up a cold case unit to seek justice for them. We have our first 3 indictments coming out of that. One goes back to 1983. And that shows you 2 things. Number 1, justice can come for all of us. But number 2, I think we've shown, and that I've shown, that we can still lead the country in doing the right thing.
What specific policies will you promote while in office that support public education?
I formed a ticket to ensure that public education would always be number 1. My running mate is a teacher. Jacqueline Coleman is a teacher, basketball coach, now an assistant principal at Nelson County. She'd be the first active educator to serve as lieutenant governor since Martha Lane Collins, and that is desperately needed. So the policies we look at are, first, we have to fully fund public education. You look around and kids are being taught by books held together by duct tape. There is not the technology in the rooms that we need to compete, not with Indiana, but with India. In a global economy, you all have to have the tools to compete with everyone now. We have to make sure that class size is to a point where every child gets an opportunity, and our schools have to have wraparound services for those children born and living in difficult circumstances. We need our teachers at the table, not just for education issues, but everything we face. Why? Because they're with our young people as many of the hours of the day as parents are. And so the opportunity for them to be a partner is incredible. It could let us move at a direction and at a pace that we've always dreamed of. So our current governor has tried to close the doors of our capital to teachers. I want to reopen them, and I want to bring them to the table each and every day for everything we're doing.
How do you plan on restoring or improving the pension systems?
So I believe the first thing we have to do in our pension system is to create new dedicated revenue streams towards it. And I believe that the first step needs to be expanded gaming. So right now we have casinos set up all across our borders. They're in Indiana, Ohio, Missouri, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. And those states, we believe right now, get about $550 million of tax revenue just from what people in Kentucky bet. So if we were able to keep that money at home without one person betting one more dollar than they are right now, without there being any increase in gambling than there already is right now, that's $550 million I want to dedicate directly to the pension system. So if we create that new dedicated revenue stream, it means our teachers don't have to be in Frankfurt every 2 years worried about whether the funding is going to be there. I want to move this state forward. I mean, there are so many areas that we need to help our families in. Take jobs. You know, our current governor will claim that the economy is wonderful and that everybody has a job, but what are they? We have the third lowest per capita income in the country. We have the third lowest wage growth in the country. We have twice the number of minimum wage jobs as the national average. So what does that mean? It means so many of our families work a really hard week. Some of them 70, 80 hours, and they fall behind every week. Why? Because their wages never go up, but the gas bill and the grocery bill and the power bill go up every single month. I want to create those type of jobs where you get ahead, where you can actually believe at the end of the week that you're leaving your kids better off than you had it. Healthcare. I believe that healthcare is a basic human right. To me, it's an issue of faith. In the gospel, Jesus says a doctor is for the sick, not the well. And I believe it can be an issue of everybody's faith. But right now we have a governor whose Medicaid waiver would tear 90,000 people off of healthcare coverage they have for the first time. And when you look at these populations, they suffer significantly from some of the most expensive and debilitating conditions out there: heart disease, lung cancer, diabetes. We've got to make sure that everybody is covered. And at the same time, we've got to fight to lower everyone else's healthcare costs, because healthcare costs too much for everyone. These are areas where we can improve every single Kentucky family's life, and that's what a governor should be dedicated to doing. At the end of a term, or 2 terms, if I have the opportunity, I'd like to be able to look back and to say I was the type of governor that helped every family, Democrat, Republican, Independent, and made sure that we all had a shot, that we all had an opportunity to live that American dream, that we all had an opportunity for prosperity, and that we fought for everybody.
And do you have a message to students or Kentuckians in general that, they can do something about this?
Well, I believe that this next election is one of the most critical in our lifetime. I believe that we have to turn the page on 4 years of failed leadership, but also mean-spirited leadership, and usher in an era where we are all in it together again.